Hey Freerunner fans, Matt Live here in Austin, Texas, and so I wanted to kind of chime in here and tell you about a little cool thing that we do on all of our Freerunner records. And really popular in the pop music industry, there's a little thing out there, and it's a little toy for your guitar, and it's extremely powerful. It's called an EBow. It looks like this. It's a strange little contraption, and it has a little blue light on it. And the blue light doesn't really matter to the thing, but it's got a little blue light, and that lets you know that it's on. So this basically is a little magnet that makes your guitar vibrate, like the strings of your guitar vibrate indefinitely. And so I'm just kind of going to show you what it does here for sake. This is my Telecaster guitar, my blue Telecaster that's available right now in our Indiegogo. What you do is you want to set your pickups to the rhythm pickup here up on your neck, and this thing is going to actually play off the pickup and create a sound indefinitely. It sounds kind of like this. And as I get closer to the pickup, it's actually going to get louder. See that? And so this is just my guitar on clean. There's nothing, you know, it's going through my pedal board. No effects here at all. I've got this, this is a Vox, an AV 60 amp with Telecaster through it, and it just sounds like that. Now the EBow was created to give an electronic bow effect, and that's why it's called the EBow. It's supposed to be like an electronic bow, almost like a bow on a violin or a cello or something like that. And the original idea of it was to create a bowing effect for your guitar. But the cool thing about it is that it creates this infinite sustain because of the magnet in it is actually reacting with the pickup and letting it sustain forever. So what you can do with this is add little layers underneath your music, and you can add these layers and you can build them up, and it can create kind of a harmonic sound that usually ends up kind of becoming kind of a background, kind of a bed thing. And so what I did here is I've pulled up a few things on my screen, just kind of popular songs that this kind of occurs in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some of those so that you get the idea of what it sounds like when it's in music. And also I'm going to, as soon as after I play these clips, I'm going to play some Freerunner songs for you and show you where it is in the mix, because it's probably hidden down in there in a little place that you don't know where it is. And I'm going to show you how that works, and so that you guys can hear it. So here's a song. This is Dave Matthews Band. The song's called Where Are You Going? And you've probably heard this one before. You can hear the EBow come in here. So that top little overtone you're hearing is actually the EBow. And it kind of creates this nice little pretty background effect that you wouldn't have thought was there originally. Another big one is Champagne Supernova by Oasis. There's 3 layers of EBow there, kind of just droning off in that background. And they just kind of continue. So what they do is you use this kind of as a background effect, almost like a synthesizer, and it can fill out your song in a way that, you know, it's not intrusive to the song, and you know, creates kind of this pretty little background. Ah, it's beautiful. So, you know, a lot of songs have this in there, and the Smashing Pumpkins use it all the time. They use it as a solo effect, and so here's an example of a guitar solo. You can do solo effects with it if you're into that sort of a thing. The average listener might just think that that's a guitar, but it's actually the EBow that's creating that effect. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play you some things. Here's the EBow. And that's what it sounds like. It actually has 2 modes on it, and it has this regular version it's got a little click switch here in the back with 2 little clicker things, and you can click it 2 different ways as you see the light turns on and off. And the front mode is just regular note mode, and so it plays the note that you're holding. Whereas the other mode is a harmonic mode, and it creates kind of a harmony and an overtone. So the nice thing about this is you can add some really pretty effects to it. Like, I like to touch it up with a little reverb and a little delay. And let's hear what that sounds like. Really kind of dreamy. Gives this little, like, nice background kind of effect. If you go on YouTube, some of the guys can actually sweep the EBow. Something like that. I'm not very good at it, but there is a way so you can sweep it and create these kind of cool arpeggios with it. But what you need to do, really, is to react with this pickup here, because the closer you get to it, the louder it's going to get. And that's where you control your dynamics with it. So when you're in your solos, you know, if you want to do a solo effect with this, you start back, and as you get closer, that's where your solo is, and then you can kind of drop back into the background. So I'm going to pull up here is a Freerunner song. This one you guys probably know. This is Easy Evening, and the whole solo of Easy Evening is done with the EBow. Hear what that sounds like a little bit. This is an unmixed version from Logic We Don't Understand here on my Pro Tools. I'll touch this so you guys can kind of see what my Pro Tools is looking like. So these three are my EBow tracks recorded through you know, a bunch of different amps and miking techniques. So where we are, oh, let me get some sound here for the Pro Tools. Here you go. There's my EBow part coming in. So if you've heard the album, you know this solo. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to mute this out, and I'm going to perform this solo for you live so that you can kind of hear how it works. So without the EBow. No EBow there. So here, let me give you a little demo. I'm going to turn this on. Remember, on your rhythm pickup here so you can see me and the guitar. And, you know, this is just a little once over of the solo so you guys get a feeling of what's going on here. Kind of see how it works. That's that part, that's that little guitar solo, which is more of a lead line part. So we have a lot of other songs where we just kind of record this in the background. It becomes the overtone. So I'm going to pull one of those up for you. A big one that you didn't realize it was on is our song Cry Along. So Cry Along ends up having a lot of EBow on it. The EBow goes through the entire song. Here, so you can see my screen again. Here's my EBow track, these blue tracks here. Again, 3 miking techniques on the amp. And this is just the outro of the song. There's actually a lot of EBow in here. So you guys know the song. You don't realize it's back there, but it is. I'll bring it up for you in the mix. actually listen to it on the album, it doesn't sound anything like that. Bring it back and sit it into the mix a little bit. Now it's just kind of a pretty overtone. And play that section again. You don't really hear it. But, so I want to play you this one again, do a little live here so that you can see my hands and see how this part is. And again, you just kind of hold the note that you want to play, you know, and you can move your fingers, as you see here. And you don't have to worry about it, it's going to sustain indefinitely. You know, you could just hold it here for an entire song, give it a little vibrato, just like a violin note. Again, as you get closer to the pickup, it's going to get louder. You really have to watch where your volume is because it can overpower the entire mix of the song if you're not paying attention to it. So I'm going to mute these out, and this is just kind of how this part goes. So I mixed it back. Now here we go loud. Again, I'm only controlling this volume with where the EBow is on the guitar. A lot of people ask, what's the point of the blue light? And the blue light, there's actually no reason for it except the fact that it's either on or off. Again, there's two little modes. You've got the original mode and the harmonic mode. So I can do this, for example. The harmonic mode kind of jumps back into the note too. It doesn't always give you the harmonic, but it is going to give you this kind of feedbacky effect. It's going to be a little higher pitched. A little more feedbacky than that, which is just kind of a solid note. Some notes it really feeds back on. Some notes it just kind of gives you the normal thing. But I can play this again for you. Again, the EBow is muted out, and I can play this again with the harmonic mode, and maybe you'll hear a difference, maybe you won't. So that's the EBow. Again, really pretty effect that you can add into the background of your songs. And, you know, kind of creates this overtone that you never really heard before. I'm going to bring up one more song here, if you guys are still with me on this cold, shivery day here in Austin, Texas. We've got this song, our song Halfway, and Halfway has a melody in the beginning that you probably aren't used to hearing, that's just kind of an overtone, and you hear that melody and you sing along with that melody, but you're not really ready for it to be an EBow part, or at least you don't think about it. You think of it maybe as a guitar or a synth, and it's just kind of part of the bigger blend of music, because you really want your EBow parts to sit down. Unless you're going to solo with it, it doesn't need to be a main, in-your-face kind of an effect. It just kind of sits in the background. At Freerunner, we really like to blend it in with our synth, so wherever we put our synth, we put the EBow there along with it, and it kind of blends and gives kind of a duality effect where the EBow can move one direction, the synth can move another, and the EBow ends up kind of becoming the top high-end sound that blends with the lower end tones of the synthesizer. So here's Halfway, which you guys have heard, I'm sure. This is an unmixed version, and basically I'm going to show you where we blend this with the synthesizer to really get those the melodies in the beginning of the track. So there's my EBow, and so what I'm going to solo here for you is the EBow part, so you can kind of hear what the EBow sounds like on its own. So that's my EBow that I've recorded. And the synthesizer we played on this record was a vintage Krumar synth that our friend Philip, who helped record that at his studio here in Austin where we did our overdubs, he had this amazing synth. It's called a Krumar synthesizer, and it's a vintage 70s string synthesizer that kind of creates an orchestra kind of a sound. So what we did for this song is kind of blend the EBow with that orchestra kind of synth. And so the Krumar on its own sounds like this. Bring it up in here. It's a beautiful synthesizer. It sounds really warm, nice string sound. And so now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine that with the EBow and kind of create a mix here, and you'll hear what the actual track kind of sounds like in the background. So the chords move in the Krumar synth, but the EBow is kind of giving you the melody. And so that's a way that we use this in Freerunner to kind of create a background, kind of an atmospheric bed. And then when we play it live, it's not there. Jamal will play it on the synthesizer, but you won't actually hear the EBow part, but you don't need to because it's not the main thing that you're hearing. It's almost like, I like using this analogy, if the band are walking through a field performing the song, the synth and the EBow are kind of like the sky all around you, and you're not really, you take the sky for granted, you know, it's just kind of there, but you expect it to be. And that's kind of where the EBow and the string synth kind of sit in all of our mixes. It's kind of like a background ethereal tone. So again, thanks for watching. A few more things I could do here that's kind of cool with the EBow. You can add distortion to it. So if here's my regular tone, you can distort it and give it kind of a jangly, you know. And it'll really break up kind of well. I don't recommend putting too much on it. Here's what happens if you have too much. It kind of just sounds like garbage. Because it is supposed to be a really pretty effect. And again, you can put the distortion on. Make it a lead tone if you want to make it a lead tone, but it's not important. Sometimes I run it through a tube driver just to boost it up a little bit. But, you know, it's not really necessary. You can drown it in reverb, you can drown it in delay. But you kind of lose your notes when you do that. Again, just kind of a fun sound and a nice little undertone to put underneath your tracks. Like you heard in the Champagne Supernova song, you just kind of put it as a background. I mean, they hold one note, pretty much. And you just hold that note and it becomes the background. So again, neat little trick. These are about $100. You can get them on eBay for about 80. And get the EBow 2 that has both modes, you know. The harmonic mode does come in handy if you just want, you know, a nice little high-pitched sort of a thing back there. Harmonic mode really is kind of nice to have. And it's like a controlled feedback that you can change the pitch of. So again, thanks for watching. Again, you can buy my blue guitar on our Indiegogo right now. We are doing Indiegogo for this next record. Lots of EBow on this next record. Lots of cool little tricks that we've put in there and little background things, really layered up. And thanks for watching. I've got open mic night tonight if you guys are in Austin, Texas. Even with all the ice, I think we're still going to have open mic. So come on out to Posse East tonight. Sign up starts at 8 and it runs 8:30 to midnight, and I'll be hosting the thing. And you can come say hi and talk to me. One more question that I get a lot is, does the EBow work on an acoustic guitar? And the answer is yes, it does work on an acoustic guitar. I don't have an acoustic right here to show you, but it doesn't work the same. It just vibrates your string constantly because you don't have a pickup. Again, thanks for joining in, and stay tuned. I'm sure we'll be doing more demos and things. I know Rich has a demo of his Ditto pedal that he's going to show you and how that sort of thing works. But again, have a great Tuesday, and everybody stay safe on the ice. Take care now.